අහසට පොළවෙන් නගින්නේම එකතු මාරයයි උඹ ලෝකෙට කවුරුනත් උඹව මතක සුමානයයි අපි යකට බයද බං සොහොන අපේ විමානයයි ඔය කොකාට වාරය නම් ඉත්ත යට දෙවාරයයි ගල් කටස් පටස් ගාලා ගිටාර් වෙනවා මේ සින්දුවලම එල්ලි චීන පටස් දාලා වගේ පුටාර් එකේ යති හයේ හතර කල්ලි අපේ කොටස් වෙලඳ පොලේ සටස් ගාම කොට වැටෙන්නේ නෑ සල්ලි අපි හෙටත් මෙහෙමමයි ගටක් තියෙන කොට යටත් වෙයිද මල්ලි.
We would like to thank all our devotees who stood by us and have been posting very wonderful messages on the social media. Firstly, we have not fled the country, nor have we gone anywhere. We are only in Nemam, and we wish to inform you that we are in very good health, that we are perfectly fine. There's no problem with regard to the health. But then there are rumors that we have left the country, that we have fled the country, but no, we are only in Nemam. We are either operating from Nemam or from Satyaloka, depending on where I am required. And not anyway, you know, I do conduct M&M classes, and I have spoken to the Dharma Samstapaks, so I have not run away from the country. I am very much there. So now you understand what the media is talking about. The government or the IT department has not said we have fled the country. It's only the media which is saying we have fled the country. So now, anyway, whenever there's a big crisis like this, the grace steps up. Enormously, it steps up. So, we know that thousands of devotees in India and outside India, we are their strength. They depend on us, we are their friends who would help them with their problems. So, we would not leave you anywhere. In fact, we would become more powerful, and we are your true friends, and we will continue to help you with all your problems. We will be with you, and we will be continuously helping you. So some people thought that we will abandon everything. No, we will not abandon anything. Things will continue as usual. Things are continuing as usual. Activities in Nemam are continuing as usual. In Satyaloka it is continuing as usual, and in Ekam they are continuing as usual. So everything is going on as usual. So we will be helping you, in fact, more and more. We will be with you. So we would like to tell you to move forward and to get to that 64,000 which we keep talking about as early as possible. So much for now. And once again, Amanda, I would like to express our gratitude for the way our devotees have stood by us and for all their wonderful messages.
The fatal flaw in Carnegie's success formula: why feeding Ravana's 10 heads while ignoring Rama and Sita in the heart leads to ultimate ruin. A warning for the golden age. Time is running out. Dale Carnegie's How to Win Friends and Influence People has stood as a monument to social success for nearly a century. Its principles, masterfully crafted to navigate human ego and pride, have guided millions toward worldly achievement. Yet as we stand at the threshold of a planetary transformation into the Golden Age, as warned by Sri Kalki Bhagavan of Ekam University, we must examine a profound and dangerous oversight in Carnegie's philosophy, the complete prioritization of pleasing the egoic mind, the 10 heads of Ravana, while systematically ignoring the authentic self, the heart intelligence where Rama and Sita eternally reside. This article will explore each of Carnegie's techniques while revealing their fatal limitation. They teach us to become masterful servants of illusion while abandoning the only guidance system capable of leading us to our true destiny. The time for such compromises is ending. Sri Kalki Bhagavan's urgent warnings remind us that slavery to ego and pride, whether our own or others, will exact a terrible price in the accelerating transformation ahead. Part 1: Fundamental Techniques that Feed the Beast. If you want to gather honey, don't kick over the beehive. Carnegie's opening wisdom counsels against criticism, condemnation, and complaint. He understood that attacking someone's ego creates defensiveness and enmity. This principle recognizes an important truth: the human ego is fragile, reactive, and vengeful when wounded. Yet here lies the first compromise. By teaching us to carefully navigate around the ego rather than helping people transcend it, Carnegie's approach keeps everyone trapped in the egoic prison. When we tiptoe around Ravana's 10 heads, each representing a different aspect of ego identification, we reinforce their tyranny. We confirm that these false identities must be protected and pampered rather than dissolved. The authentic approach honors both truth and compassion.
මේ වීඩියෝ එක ඉතා වැදගත් ඉතා කෙටි වීඩියෝ එකක් වෙනවා. මේ වීඩියෝ එක මම කෙලින්ම යොමු කරන්නේ මගේ channel එකේ ඉන්න මට ගොඩක් ස්තුතිවන්ත වෙලා ඉන්න මට හරිම කෘතඥපූර්වක වෙලා ඉන්න සහෝදරයෙකුට යසිත සුදුසිංහ මහත්තයා මට කෙලවරක් නැතුව ස්තුති කරනවා. කෙරවලක් නැතුව කෘතඥපූර්වක වෙලා තියෙනවා. මෙහිට අවුරුදු 2කට විතර කලින් ඉඳලා එතුමා ඒ විදිහට මට කෘතඥපූර්වකව හිටියා. මුලින්ම කිව්වේ මං හින්දා එයාට අම්මා භගවන්ගේ දීක්ෂා ලැබෙන්න ගත්තා කියලා. ඒ වගේම කිව්වා එයාගේ ගෙදර විභූති සෝම වතුර වගේ ඒවා පහළ වුණා කියලා. යසිත සුදුසිංහ මහත්මයා මට ගොඩක් ස්තුති කරලා තියෙනවා අම්මා භගවන් හඳුන්වා දීපු එකට. මේට අවුරුදු 2කට කලින් කිව්වේ එයාගේ ගෙදරට ඉඳලා හිටලා සුදු අස්සෙක්ගේ පිටේ නැගපු කවුද කෙනෙක් ආවා ගියා. එයා දැකලා තියෙනවා එහෙම කෙනෙක් යනවා එනවා. මාව හඳුනාගත්තට පස්සේ තමයි දැනගත්තේ විමුක්තිීශ්වර කල්කි කියලා එතුමා කිව්වා. ඒකට මට ස්තුති කරා. ඊට අමතරව එයාගේ ගෙදර සෝම වතුර පහළ වෙනවා කියලා එයා මට කිව්වා. එයාගේ ගෙදර වතුර සෝම බවට හැරෙනවා කියලා එයා මට කිව්වා. ඒ වගේම විභූති, ඒ වගේම ධාතුන් වහන්සේලා එයාගේ ගෙදර ශ්‍රී මූර්තිය පහළ වෙනවා කියලා කිව්වා. ඉතින් එතුමාට මම කියන්නේ මට ගොඩක් කෘතඥපූර්වක වෙලා තියෙනවා ඔබතුමා. ඔබතුමා මට කිව්වා ඔබතුමා ජාතික රූපවාහිනියේ අධ්‍යක්ෂකවරයෙක් වෙලා හිටියේ කියලා. ඒ වගේම ඔබතුමා මට කිව්වා මේ පාර මට ගොඩක් ස්තුති කරා. එකක් තමයි ශ්‍රී ලංකාවේ ජාතික ආරක්ෂාවට වග කියන ඉතා ඉහළ තනතුරක් ඔබතුමාට ලැබිච්ච හින්දා ඔබතුමා මට ස්තුති කරා. ඊට අමතරව ඔබතුමා මට ස්තුති කරා ශ්‍රී ලංකාවේ ඇමරිකානු තානාපතිතුමා ඔබතුමාගේ ගෙදර ඇවිල්ලා උදේ කෑම කාපු එකටත් මට ස්තුති කරා. ඉතින් මට ගොඩාක් ස්තුති කරලා තියෙනවා මේ වෙනකොට යසිත සුදුසිංහ මහත්තයා. යසිත සුදුසිංහ මහත්මයා මම ඔබතුමාට ස්තුතිවන්ත වෙනවා මේ අම්මා භගවාන්ගේ සෝම වතුර විභූති කුංකුම වගේ දේවල් ඇමරිකාවට ගෙනියන්න වැඩ කරනවාට ඊට අමතරව මම මෙතන කියනවා සිකුරු උදාතරුව ලුසිෆර් මෝර්නිං ස්ටාර් කියන කතාවේ ලොස් ඒන්ජලිස් දේවදූතයින්ගේ පුරයට ලොස් ඒන්ජලිස් කියන දේවදූතයින්ගේ පුරයට එන සිකුරු උදාතරුව ලුසිෆර් මෝර්නිං ස්ටාර් කියන කතාවේ යක්ෂයා කියනවා මම හරියට හෙරොයින් වගේ පුදුම විදියට ඇබ්බැහි වෙනවා. මං කෙනෙක්ව අතෑරිය දාට එයාට හෙරොයින් නැති වුණා වගේ වෙනවා කියලා. ලුසිෆර් මෝර්නිං ස්ටාර් යක්ෂයා කියනවා මම හරියට හෙරොයින් වගේ පුදුම විදියට ඇබ්බැහි වෙනවා. මං දවසක කෙනෙක්ව අතෑරියාම හෙරොයින් ගත්තු කෙනෙකුට වෙන හරියම වෙනවා කියලා යක්ෂයා කියනවා. ඊට අමතරව එයා කියනවා යක්ෂයාට පුළුවන් නම් විමුක්ත වෙන්න, යක්ෂයාට පුළුවන් නම් සසරෙන් මිදෙන්න ඕනෑම කෙනෙකුට පුළුවන් කියලා. ඉතින් යසිත සුදුසිංහ මහත්මයා මම ඔයාලට ගොඩාක් ස්තුතිවන්ත වෙනවා. ඉදිරි කාලයේදී යක්ෂයා විද්‍රෝ කරන්න ගන්නවා. ඉදිරි කාලයේදී යක්ෂයා එයාගෙන් වැඩ ගන්න අයව අතාරින්න ගන්නවා. එතකොට ඒගොල්ලන්ට දැනෙන්නේ හරියට හෙරොයින් නැති වුනහම ඇති වෙන ලෙඩක් වගේ. මේ වීඩියෝ එකේ අන්තිමට this way හෙරොයින් නැති වුණොත් වෙන්නේ මොන වගේ දෙයක්ද කියලා තියෙන වීඩියෝ කීපයක් සිංහලෙන් යට ඩිස්ක්‍රිප්ෂන් එකෙත් බලන්න. මහින්ද රාජපක්ෂ මහත්මයාව කොයි වෙලේ හරි මහසෝන අතෑරියොත්, ගෝඨාභය රාජපක්ෂ මහත්මයාව කොයි වෙලේ හරි මහසෝන අතෑරියොත්, රනිල් වික්‍රමසිංහ මහත්මයාව කොයි වෙලේ හරි කලු කුමාරයා අතෑරියොත්,
ඉතිපිසෝ භගවා හර හර සම්මුඛ දේවා වා අරහං හර හර සම්මුඛ දේවා වා සම්මා සම්බුද්ධෝ හර හර සම්මුඛ දේවා වා විද්‍යාචරණ සම්පන්නෝ හර හර සම්මුඛ දේවා වා සුගතෝ හර හර සම්මුඛ දේවා වා ලෝකවිදෝ හර හර සම්මුඛ දේවා වා අනුත්තරෝ හර හර සම්මුඛ දේවා වා පුරිස ධම්ම සාරති හර හර සම්මුඛ දේවා වා සත්තා දේව මනුස්සානං හර හර සම්මුඛ දේවා වා බුද්ධෝ භගවාති හර හර සම්මුඛ දේවා වා අභිධර්මය දෙසූ මුනි අදිටන් බලයට හර හර සම්මුඛ දේවා වා මුනි ගුණ අනයට ඕඩිවා ශීඝ්‍රවා තෙරුවන් අනයට ඕඩිවා
ඒගොල්ලන්ට දැනෙන්නේ හෙරොයින් නැති වුණා වගේ. එහෙම වෙච්ච වෙලාවක ඒගොල්ලන්ට ඔබතුමාගේ ගෙදර සෝම ලබා දෙන්න, කුංකුම ලබා දෙන්න, විභූති ලබා දෙන්න මම ඔබතුමාට ගොඩක් ස්තුතිවන්ත වෙනවා. ශ්‍රී ලංකාවේ ඇමරිකානු තානාපතිතුමාට සෝම වතුර ලබා දීම සම්බන්ධයෙන්, ඒ වගේම ඔබතුමා එතුමාට අර ගෙදෙට්ට යන සුදු වස්සය පිටේ එන කෙනාවත් හොඳට හඳුන්වා දෙන්න. එහෙනම් බොහොම ස්තුතියි මාත්‍යෝ, බොහොම ස්තුතියි.
කතරගම දේවතාවුන් වහන්සේ කදිරපුර වරෙහිය වෙසෙන දෙවි කඳ කුමරුය මෙලකට බල වැඩිය උමා බෙහෙසුරු දෙවිගේ පුතනුය දුක් විපත් විඳිනා හැම සත දුකින් මුදනා රෝදුක් දුරලනා කතරගම දෙවි වඳිමි බැතිනා අත් දොළසකින්නේ කොන්තා යුධ දරන්නේ මුහුණු සයකින්නේ කදිර සුරිඳුගේ තෙද පෙනෙන්නේ දිවා රෑ නොහැරා කරන පුද කෙලි පතරා දනගේ දුක දුරැරා හරින දෙවියෙකි ඔබ නොවිතරා උපන් පින් බලයනි හපංකම් ඇති බෙහෙවිනි මෙවන් කඳ සුරිඳුනි ඔබෙන් පිහිටක් පතමි බැතියෙනි තේජස බල විකුම් පපා රුපු නෙඩි බිඳ හැරලන්නේ මේ රට රැක දෙන දෙවියනි මේ කෙලි පුද පිළිගන්නේ තාරක නම් අසුරයාගේ ගෙලසිඳ ජය ලැබුමෙන්නේ මේ සතහට කරුණාවෙන් ඒ බලයෙන් සෙත දෙන්නේ බුදු සසුනට මෙලක් දිවට දිවැස්සෙලා වැඩ ඉන්නේ මැණික් ගඟට එහි කන්දට රුහුණු රටට බලවන්නේ සැකක් නොමැත ඔබ තෙද බල තව තව රට පැතිරෙන්නේ අදත් අපගේ පුද අසුනට මයුරා පිට නැගහින්නේ.
It recognizes Rama and Sita dwelling in every heart, the eternal consciousness beyond ego. Yes, we avoid needless cruelty, but we do not participate in the collective delusion that ego identity is real or worthy of endless appeasement. In the golden age that Sri Kalki Bhagavan speaks of, those who have built their entire lives on feeding egos, their own and others, will find their foundations crumbling. The big secret of dealing with people. Carnegie reveals that the deepest craving in human nature is the desire to be important. He teaches us to give people honest appreciation, to make them feel valued and significant. This technique, he promises, will make us masters of influence. But what are we making people feel important as? As their egoic masks? As their false identities? As the 10 heads of Ravana that have usurped the throne of consciousness? When we feed appreciation to someone's pride and ego identification, we strengthen the very prison walls that separate them from their authentic self. True service to another human being involves recognizing the divine consciousness within them, acknowledging Rama and Sita in their heart. This recognition uplifts them to their highest possibility rather than confirming them in their lowest self-concept. Carnegie's technique may win friends in the short term, but it sabotages souls in the long term. As time runs short before the full manifestation of the Golden Age, such sabotage becomes increasingly dangerous. He who can do this has the whole world with him. Carnegie teaches us to arouse in others an eager want, to see things from their point of view, and help them get what they desire. This principle of understanding others' motivations is valuable, but again, it operates entirely at the level of egoic desire. When we spend our lives helping others fulfill cravings born of fear, insecurity, and false identity, we become enablers of delusion. The masses, as the document wisely notes, cannot see the path ahead, they cannot guide you to destiny. Yet Carnegie would have us expertly cater to their blind wants, yoking our destiny to their confusion. The heart intelligence, Rama and Sita within, knows desires of a different order. These are the soul's authentic longings for truth, love, unity, and awakening. These desires, when fulfilled, liberate rather than enslave. Sri Kalki Bhagavan warns that those who remain enslaved to egoic wanting will find themselves unprepared for the consciousness shift ahead. Part 2, Making Ravana's Heads Like You. Do this and you'll be welcome anywhere. Carnegie's advice, become genuinely interested in other people. Show them attention, remember their concerns, make them feel heard. This technique works brilliantly because it feeds the ego's desperate hunger for significance. But consider what we are welcoming. Are we welcome at the table of consciousness, or at the table of illusion? When our welcome depends on constantly reinforcing others' ego narratives, we become prisoners of their dysfunction. We cannot speak truth. We cannot call them higher. We can only reflect back their own delusions with a smile. The authentic self, Rama and Sita in the heart, needs no such manipulation to connect. Heart recognizes heart. When two people meet from their center of truth rather than their periphery of ego, genuine communion occurs without technique or strategy. But this requires risking the disapproval of Ravana's 10 heads, something Carnegie's philosophy cannot accommodate. A simple way to make a good first impression. Smile. Carnegie understood that a smile disarms, welcomes, and pleases. There is wisdom here, as genuine warmth opens doors. But when the smile becomes a technique divorced from authentic feeling, a tool to manipulate rather than an expression of real joy, it becomes another mask, another lie. In approaching the golden age, such inauthenticity becomes increasingly unbearable. The frequencies of consciousness rising on the planet will make false performance feel like torture. Those who have built their success on performed emotions rather than authentic presence will experience a profound crisis. Sri Kalki Bhagavan warns that the old ways of egoic manipulation will simply cease to function in the new consciousness. If you don't do this, you are headed for trouble. Remember and use people's names. Carnegie calls it the sweetest sound in any language. He's right that people love hearing their names, but again, what loves it? The ego, the false identity, the 10 heads of Ravana that have forgotten they are eternal consciousness and believe themselves to be this particular name and form. Every time we use this technique to feed that delusion, we drive another nail into the coffin of authenticity. We confirm, yes, you are this limited identity. Yes, this name defines you. Yes, this small self is what matters. We forget that beyond all names dwells the nameless, the Rama and Sita who are everyone's true nature. An easy way to become a good conversationalist. Listen. Encourage others to talk about themselves and their interests. Carnegie observed that people who do this are considered brilliant conversationalists, even if they barely speak. This reveals a painful truth. Most human interaction is simply ego performance seeking an audience. When we become expert audiences for ego monologues, we enable this dysfunction. We confirm that the calculating mind, what the document calls the shallow mind, deserves center stage. Meanwhile, the inner guide, the heart intelligence, the authentic self remains unheard, dismissed as useless by a society that values manipulation over truth. The tragedy compounds. By becoming masters of this technique, we not only enable others' disconnection from their authentic selves, we deepen our own. We spend our lives listening to Ravana while Rama and Sita sit forgotten in the heart. How to interest people and make people like you instantly. Talk in terms of others' interests. Show enthusiasm for what excites them. Again, brilliant ego management, devastating soul abandonment. When every conversation becomes a strategic performance designed to win approval, authentic connection becomes impossible. Sri Kalki Bhagavan's warnings grow more urgent as the planetary transformation accelerates. Those who have sacrificed authenticity on the altar of approval will find themselves increasingly hollow, anxious, and lost. The old rewards for ego feeding, status, influence, worldly success, will lose their power to satisfy as consciousness shifts to higher frequencies. Part 3: Winning people to your way while losing your soul. You can't win an argument. Carnegie's insight: even when you win an argument logically, you lose socially because you've made the other person feel inferior. So avoid arguments altogether, or if you must engage, do so with such care that the other person never feels defeated. This is ego management at its finest and spiritual development at its worst. Truth becomes secondary to comfort. Reality must bow to pride. The 10 heads of Ravana must never be contradicted, even when they are leading someone toward destruction. But Rama and Sita in the heart hunger for truth, even uncomfortable truth. The authentic self grows through challenge, through having its illusions dissolved, through the creative friction of different perspectives honestly expressed. By wrapping everyone in cotton wool to protect their egos, we prevent the very growth that consciousness seeks. A sure way of making enemies, and how to avoid it. Never tell someone they are wrong. This cardinal rule of Carnegie's system reveals its fundamental flaw most clearly. If we cannot tell truth because it might offend ego, we become slaves to illusion. We participate in collective delusion. We watch people walk off cliffs while smiling and nodding. Sri Kalki Bhagavan's warnings about time running out take on new urgency here. If the golden age approaches and we've spent our lives reinforcing everyone's egoic delusions to maintain social harmony, we've failed not only ourselves, but everyone we've influenced. Short-term social success becomes long-term spiritual catastrophe. If you're wrong, admit it and a drop of honey. Carnegie teaches, admit your mistakes quickly and emphatically, and begin with praise before criticism. These techniques work because they soothe ego. But notice the pattern: everything is calculated for effect. There is no authentic remorse, no genuine recognition of error, only strategic positioning to minimize ego damage. This is Ravana's wisdom: always protect the heads, always maintain the image, always calculate for advantage. It is brilliant for worldly navigation and devastating for soul development. The heart intelligence doesn't operate through such manipulation. It simply knows truth and speaks it, without performance or strategy. The secret of Socrates and the safety valve in handling complaints. Get people saying yes repeatedly, and let them talk themselves out. These techniques of subtle manipulation might win arguments, but they exemplify the calculating mind that the document warns against. This is the mind the masses worship: clever, strategic, effective at control. And this is the mind that cannot access the unified field or anchor in unity consciousness. How to get cooperation and a formula that will work wonders. Let others feel ideas are theirs, and appeal to nobler motives. Carnegie understood that ego craves ownership and likes to see itself as virtuous. So we learn to manipulate these cravings for our purposes. But every manipulation, no matter how well-intentioned, strengthens the ego's grip. Every strategic performance distances us from authentic presence. Every calculated word moves us further from the heart intelligence that is our only reliable guide. And time, as Sri Kalki Bhagavan warns, is running out for such games. What everybody wants, an appeal that everybody likes, the movies do it. Carnegie teaches, dramatize your ideas, make them vivid and interesting, appeal to people's desire for importance. These entertainment techniques work wonderfully on Ravana's 10 heads, each of which loves spectacle, drama, and self-importance. But Rama and Sita in the heart are not impressed by drama. They seek substance, truth, and authentic connection. They cannot be won through performance. When we master Carnegie's techniques, we become expert entertainers of ego while starving the soul of genuine nourishment. When nothing else works, try this. Throw down a challenge. Carnegie observed that people love to prove themselves, to compete, to win. This final technique for winning people overplays to pride and ego investment. Yet the document reminds us that we are not limited egos, but expressions of the divine itself. When we constantly appeal to egoic pride, we reinforce the very illusion that must be transcended. We confirm people in their smallness while claiming to bring out their greatness. Part 4. Leadership built on sand. If you must find fault, this is the way to begin and how to criticize, and not be hated. Begin with praise. Be indirect. Carnegie's leadership principles all revolve around protecting ego even while correcting behavior. This creates leaders who are actually servants to everyone's need to feel good about themselves regardless of reality. True leadership in the approaching golden age will require something Carnegie's philosophy cannot provide: the courage to speak truth even when it disturbs ego, guided by the heart intelligence that serves the highest good rather than the immediate comfort of pride. Sri Kalki Bhagavan's teachings point toward leaders who are anchored in unity consciousness, not skilled ego managers. Talk about your own mistakes first, and no one likes to take orders. Make faults seem easy to correct. Ask questions instead of giving orders. These techniques minimize ego threat, which Carnegie correctly identified as the key to influence. But they also minimize authentic leadership, honest feedback, and clear direction. When everything must be filtered through ego protection protocols, we lose the ability to communicate directly, honestly, and powerfully. We become so busy tiptoeing around Ravana's heads that we never speak to Rama and Sita in the heart. Let the other person save face and give a dog a good name. Protect others' dignity and give them a reputation to live up to. These principles recognize something true: people often rise or fall to match expectations. But Carnegie's application remains at the level of ego manipulation rather than soul recognition. Real transformation comes not from giving the ego a good reputation to maintain, but from recognizing the divine consciousness that lies beyond all reputation. When we see and speak to Rama and Sita in someone's heart, we call forth their highest possibility, without the performative dance Carnegie prescribes. Make the fault seem easy to correct and making people glad to do what you want. Carnegie's final principles complete the system, minimize the apparent difficulty of change, and make people feel good about doing what you need. It's a masterclass in painless manipulation, designed to move people while maintaining their ego comfort. But consciousness evolution is rarely comfortable. The dissolution of ego identification often involves crisis, discomfort, and the collapse of familiar identity structures. By teaching us to always make change seem easy and pleasant, Carnegie leaves us unprepared for the genuine transformation that spiritual awakening requires. The peril of short-term success, long-term catastrophe. Carnegie's techniques work magnificently in the short term. They win friends, influence people, build careers, and create worldly success. For navigating the ego-dominated consciousness that has characterized human society for millennia, his wisdom is unparalleled. But as Sri Kalki Bhagavan urgently warns, we are running out of time for such compromises. The planetary transformation into the Golden Age does not accommodate those who have built their entire lives on feeding Ravana while starving Rama and Sita. The consciousness shift will expose every inauthenticity, every manipulation, every choice of ego comfort over truth. Those who have mastered Carnegie's principles may find themselves socially successful, but spiritually bankrupt as the old paradigm crumbles. They have become expert servants of illusion, skilled manipulators of ego, brilliant managers of pride, and utterly disconnected from the authentic self that is their only reliable guide through transformation. The Heart Intelligence Alternative. The document points toward a radically different approach, surrendering the craving for acceptance, approval, and appreciation at the feet of a realized being like Sri Krishnapreetha Amma. This surrender is not about learning better manipulation techniques. It's about transcending the entire game of ego management. When we anchor in unity consciousness and allow the heart intelligence to guide us, something remarkable happens. We no longer need Carnegie's elaborate strategies. We connect authentically, speak truthfully, and serve genuinely, not through technique, but through presence. We recognize Rama and Sita in every heart, and call forth that divinity rather than catering to Ravana's endless demands. This path is more challenging initially. The masses, as the document notes, will often mock the inner guide and worship the calculating mind. Those who speak from heart intelligence may lose the approval Carnegie's techniques would have secured. But they gain something infinitely more valuable: alignment with the unified field and access to Sankalpa Siddhi, the effortless manifestation of intentions aligned with the highest good. The choice before us. We stand at a crossroads. One path continues Carnegie's wisdom, expert ego management, careful pride feeding, strategic inauthenticity. This path offers short-term worldly success, but leads to long-term spiritual catastrophe as the consciousness shift accelerates. The other path requires courage, choosing heart intelligence over calculation, authenticity over approval, truth over comfort. This path may cost us the favor of the masses, but it aligns us with the planetary transformation Sri Kalki Bhagavan describes. Carnegie taught us to become brilliant servants of Ravana's 10 heads. But the time has come to remember Rama and Sita dwelling eternally in the heart, the authentic self that is our only true guide. The Golden Age will not be built by those who have mastered ego manipulation. It will be built by those who have transcended ego entirely. The warning is clear: we are running out of time. Those who continue prioritizing Ravana's comfort over Rama and Sita's wisdom will find themselves increasingly lost as the old paradigm crumbles. The choice, as always, belongs to each soul. But the consequences of that choice grow more dramatic with each passing day. Together, honey, Carnegie said, "Don't kick the beehive." But perhaps the deeper wisdom is, don't spend your life making honey for Ravana while Rama and Sita wait forgotten in your heart. The masses may celebrate your skill at ego management, but the golden age will ask a different question. Did you serve truth or comfort? Did you feed illusion or facilitate awakening? Did you master manipulation or discover authenticity? Time, as Sri Kalki Bhagavan warns, is running out for such games. The invitation stands. Abandon the exhausting performance of ego-pleasing and surrender to the heart intelligence that has always known the way home.